Here now, Tracy Walder, former CIA officer and FBI special agent. She's also a NewsNation national security contributor. Let's go through what we know about this person of interest suspect. Military trained in firearms use, superior weapons knowledge. He knows this area very well. They've set up a perimeter. How challenging is it to make sure that he hasn't already penetrated that perimeter?
Well, thank you for having me, Marni. I personally feel that there is a very good chance that he has probably already penetrated this perimeter, particularly because in a lot of these recent escape sort of situations that we have seen with people escaping from prisons, those kinds of things, they're not as familiar with the area. It sounds like this is an area that he grew up in, grew up around, and that he's incredibly familiar with. He's also made threats per reporting to military bases as well. So I'm certain that those are also under tight lock and key right now.
There's a marina in the area. We know that he abandoned one car. We don't know if he's on foot, if he's in another vehicle, or if he even has access to a boat. How will investigators approach that possibility?
If they're looking at that possibility, they could potentially be bringing in the Coast Guard and their supplies as well, because the reality is yes, he could have access to a boat, although I think in this case that's highly unlikely. My guess is that he is on foot. He abandoned his vehicle. I don't believe that he probably has help. I think we're looking at sort of survival style skills right now that he's employing to try to stay away.
And to that point, he knows the area. We have to operate under the impression that he had this planned. He had a getaway plan and a hideout potentially in place. That complicates things even further because he is 2 steps ahead.
I absolutely agree with you. I have no doubt in my mind that this is something that he planned, particularly based on the threats that he's made in the past to the Army base that is nearby. I think there is no question that this is something that he planned, and I think he probably realized that this military base was too much of a hardened target, and then went after these softer targets, the bar and the bowling alley. In the case of the Marine base, I'm very surprised that it actually wasn't prosecuted because it sounds like he was ex-military and he is violating Article 115 in communicating a threat. And that could be potentially a felony, which would keep him from obtaining weapons.
Right. Some of the documents indicate that he was hearing voices and that he had threatened to carry out a shooting at a military training base in Maine. I would think technology and intel on his technology would be critical right now, pinging his cell phone, any other devices. What tools will law enforcement be using to try to hone in on anything he may be doing to follow the coverage?
That's what's tough about this, because I do think he's probably been planning this for quite some time. He is probably utilizing other methods of technology, so not his usual cell phone. The fact that his car was found abandoned, he's probably already either switched vehicles or has gone on foot. So I think they may be looking and trying to triangulate data and burner phones. That's probably what he's using at this point. The FBI is able to track those, but they would have to go off of his last possible location, and it will take a while to get all of those data. So contrary to popular belief, you can track burner phones, and I think that that's probably what he's using at this point.
There are a number of law enforcement agencies involved, from local, state, and federal. We've also got the FBI. I'm reading now the ATF is involved. Who takes the lead right now?
Local. It would most likely be the local police that would be taking the lead, and they are inviting in the other folks. So the FBI has been invited in by the local police. The Maine investigators have been invited in, and the same with ATF because firearms were involved. They have all been invited in. So it would be the local police that are taking the lead on this. However, they do need the resources of these other entities because more manpower, quite frankly, will help get him found quicker.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.